This has been an exceptionally busy week, but here I am. I will not let my people down. Hi, I'm Bridget and I'm back. So I estimated how long it's going to take me to get through every single episode of Gilmore Girls if I were to record a video every week. And the results are alarming.
2 + 2 is 4, -1, that's 3, quick maths.
So it would be 158 weeks, which is 36 months, which is 3 years. 3 years of my life. Do I really want to make Gilmore Girls my life's work?
Potentially, yes.
Will people stick around for 3 years every week to hear my opinion on Gilmore Girls? Answers in the comments below. I'm going to hazard a guess at no.
If you're out on the road.
So Rory suffered the worst thing she could possibly suffer, and she got a D on her paper at Chiltern and subsequently lost her mind. Paris was an absolute menace about it. Lorelai went to a PTA meeting and Rory's teacher fancies her and she seems to fancy him back. Suki got pissed off because a restaurant critic called one of her dishes fine and Suki couldn't cope and had to turn up at the man's house with another risotto so that his review could go up. Lorelai helped Rory to study for her test to make up for the paper that she got a D on, but she overslept and Rory overslept, missed her bus, ended up borrowing her mum's Jeep, and a deer crashed into her Jeep, which meant that she missed the test. The school gave 0 Fs and Lorelai gave an impassioned speech about how hard Rory works, as though Rory is the only one who has ever missed a test. The teacher, Max Medina, left an inappropriate message on the Gilmore Girls' house phone, implying that he wants to date Lorelai, and I was jealous.
And that's what you missed on
Gilmore Girls. So back at the grandparents' house for our Halloween-themed dinner. It is October after all, with our problematic fave, Emily Gilmore. Queen Emily Gilmore reigning supreme in the only way she knows how. Delivering terrible news. Emily drops the news that a distant cousin, Claudia, has died, and she drops the news as if she's literally asking Lorelai to pass the salt.
I'm afraid I have some bad news. Claudia died.
Who?
Claudia, your cousin Claudia.
Lorelai doesn't want to go to the funeral of this cousin because she literally can't remember her at all. So the most disturbing thing that Emily Gilmore says at this dinner is that she has a Nazi cousin and he's incredibly lovely and has great stories to tell. Lorelai is justifiably disturbed, but then Emily Gilmore drops another bomb.
You socialized with a known Nazi? That's despicable. That's heinous.
No, dear. That was a joke.
The bitch was joking. Lorelai was gagged. Rory was gagged. I was gagged. So Chiltern is having a bake sale, which I'm like, what are they raising money for? Surely everybody that goes there is rich and can just donate and we don't need to do bake sales, but okay. Anyway, Rory has to remind Lorelai that she has to participate in the bake sale because obviously Lorelai's parenting is questionable. And Babette and Maury, hurrah, I have figured out that man's name. They're taking their cat Cinnamon for a walk in a pram that Maury has made. Go off, DIY King.
Guess who's back? Back again.
Dean is back. Now, this man was walking in the opposite direction before he saw Rory and decided to follow her onto her bus. I'm genuinely worried for Rory's safety. Can we get a welfare check on her as well, please?
Hey.
It needs to be a restraining order at this point, and pronto. So a group of French businessmen come to visit the inn, and obviously Michelle is French, and he is absolutely not here for it. He pretends that he can't speak French at all, and Lorelai catches him, and she's like, you tried it. So at the bake sale, Lorelai has obviously not taken her parental duties seriously yet again, and she actually gets Suki to do the baking, and Suki turns up with an insane array of fanciful cakes, and she's rocking that Cane Row vibe again. Okay. So Max Medina comes over to their cake display to flirt with Lorelai, and I'm not even going to hold you. I'm mad as hell. Why does... It's fine. Couldn't be more jealous if I tried. I know some of you in the comments said that he was needy, but I don't care. He can need me. Now, for a split second, I thought Max was going to, regain some professionalism and apologise for the inappropriate voice note that he left at the Gilmore Girls residence, but he doesn't. Instead, he starts begging Lorelai for forgiveness for not allowing Rory to take the test, even though that is his literal job and flirting with Lorelai is not. And then he asks her out. Is he quite well? They agree to go for coffee. Ugh. He is down bad. So Rory is walking home with Lane when she spots Dean working in the grocery store, and she tries to ditch Lane so she can go in there and I don't know what, but her and her mother are truly cut from the same cloth. You're happy to just ditch your friend just so that you can look at a boy. Meanwhile, the boy that you are going to look at is the guy who literally had you jumping out of your skin on a bus a mere few hours ago. Make it make sense, Rory. So as she's in the aisles dodging Dean, she bumps into our favourite Stars Hollow menace, Miss Patty, who picks up a plum and manages to make innuendos to a teenage girl. She then asks Rory,
"Are you too young for this?"
Definitely.
if you have to ask Miss Patty, the answer is yes. As well as this woman being slightly perverse, she's also nosy as hell. She clocks that Rory fancies Dean and she's like, you like that boy, do you? So Miss Patty's walking around the store picking up fruit and veg and just tasting some of the fruit. Now, I'm sorry, in what world is that going to be acceptable? I said, really? The assistant manager comes up and tells her that that's out of order. Yes, he's been a little bit Jobsworth about it, but it's true. Like, who goes round the store and just goes, oh, I'll just have a little bit of this plum. Oh, I'll just have a little bit of this grape. Okay, maybe she's going to pay for it, but what if she doesn't pay for it? It's a bit much. And Miss Patty gives him absolute attitude.
Well, listen here, my fine friend, who if you had a better hairstyle, I might consider dating.
So Rory ends up having to pick up a lettuce head so that she can have a reason for being in the store. She basically embarrasses herself, and Dean sees this and clocks that she probably likes him, and it makes me feel physically sick. So Max and Lorelai do end up in the coffee shop that they said that they were going to meet up in, and they do that whole bit of pretending that they don't know each other, and it's really cute. And again, I'm jealous, so moving on. They do have very good banter, rapport, if you will. They're both very quick-witted, so they kind of suit each other. Max calls it and basically acknowledges what I've just said, that they do suit and that he thinks they should date. But Lorelai is still resistant because of Rory and because of him being Rory's school teacher, but you still met him in the coffee shop, so... I think it was in episode 2, Lorelai could not fathom dating a Chilton dad.
No, I mean, you're a Chilton dad.
Ooh, that sounds bad.
Not bad, just tricky. You know, Rory just started there, and I think I should let her fall in with the bad crowd before I start hooking up with the PTA.
But yet she's willing to entertain a whole teacher. I get it, Lorelai. This guy's hotter. We see you.
We see each other. We see each other.
The bitch didn't stand a chance. Like, let's be absolutely for real. The man is smooth. Also, what is up with these men using the Gilmore Girls' full government names?
Goodbye, Lorelai Gilmore.
Goodbye, Lorelai Gilmore.
Get a new line. So Suki and Lorelai are at Luke's diner, and Lorelai is going on and on about whether she should date Max or not. And Suki is kind of half listening, but also she's chefing it up at Luke's diner while he's not there, and she's serving customers food. And it's really weird that the chemistry between Luke and Lorelai seems to have completely dissipated. Like, I thought the show was setting us up for a big romance, but in this episode, they barely acknowledge each other, and I don't really get it. So remember Cinnamon, the cat that I mentioned earlier that Maury and Babette took for a walk in a pram that Maury made? Well, she dead. Sorry, it's not funny. Yup, they introduced her in the episode and killed her off. It's giving Game of Thrones. Anyway, Babette and Maury are super depressed about it. The cat was like their child, and I do feel sorry for them. They're really cute. They're a really cute couple. I really like Maury, now that I've worked out his name. They end up having a funeral at their house for the cat, and Michelle comes in with this.
Yoo-hoo-hee-ha, man.
The food at the party looks dead, like the cat. So Dean turns up to the funeral wake with some soft drinks, and Rory just mumbles shit at him as usual. So now we need to talk about the film angles in this episode. What, pray tell, were the camera people trying to do here? Seriously, what is going on? It's not a Charlie Kaufman film. Anyway, because Rory is super awkward around Dean, he starts to get annoyed. And if you ask me, he seems a little quick to anger. Red flag. He already had like 5 red flags. Max Medina turns up at the Gilmore house because him and Lorelai had arranged to have a date. And Lorelai obviously forgot because of Cinnamon dying when she goes over to explain. Anyway, he doesn't believe her. And haha, I'm so petty. Not me being obsessed with Max Medina. Let it go!
the neighbor's cat.
The neighbor's...
Cat, she died.
She died.
You literally met her once for coffee. Like, calm down. If she tells you she's at a cat funeral, she's at a cat funeral. Max. Don't worry, he ends up believing her in the end anyway, and he promises to call her. So Lorelai didn't tell Rory that she was dating Max. And Rory sees Max and is like, why is my teacher here? Which is a valid question. Anyway, Lorelai goes back into the house to try and find Rory to make amends, but she ends up in the kitchen and having a really sweet, I have to say, sweet, profound heart-to-heart with Babette, just about love. And Babette's just talking about how much she loves Maury and how much he means to her. Babette seems batshit, but I love her. She's so cute. She seems kind. Her voice is amazing. It's kind of raspy and it's quite sexy. But as we know, things can change on a dime around here, so I'm not getting too comfortable. So Dean finds Rory outside sitting by the gnomes. He decides that she's not interested in him because obviously she's behaving really awkwardly around him. I feel like at this point it is forcing me to give Dean some credit because he's like, okay, you don't like me, I'm going to leave you alone. Obviously he should have done this, 3 episodes ago, but at least he acknowledges that if the girl's not interested, she's not interested. Here you go, Dean. Here's your credit. Anyway, Rory says she does in fact like him, but then she runs away like a child. And Dean seems happy with that response, so what do I know? Lorelai eventually finds Rory and explains that she is kind of sort of dating Max Medina. And I don't know what she's expecting from her. Like, do you want me to be happy for you? You're dating my teacher. It's hella awkward. My life at Chilton is already made hell by Paris. Thanks, mum. Rory is justifiably angry and frustrated. She's like, literally, there are millions of men out there. Pick someone else. But then Lorelai is like, oh, but I really like him and it's been such a long time. I'm sorry, what is their relationship? Some things can be kept to yourself, you know. I know a lot of people claim that their mum's their best friend. My mum's my best friend. But
Again, codependence.
so the Gilmore Girls leave the party, the wake stroke funeral, and they head home next door. And for some reason, this hug between Rory and Maury really got me.
Good night, Maury.
Stay cool, Rory.
I don't know if it's because I was hormonal, but I was like, oh, it's so cute. He's so tall and she's so small. And it was just a really cute moment. I love Babette and Maury. So Emily Gilmore calls up the house. I'm guessing she's bored. And she's asking why she wasn't able to get hold of Lorelai. So Lorelai explains, I was at a cat funeral. And Rory's in the background being like, Emily's response to Lorelai being at a cat funeral is my mother to a T. My mum has never acknowledged my dog. I've had that dog for 7 years now. My mum has never once acknowledged her. My mum comes round to my house. I host Christmases here and the dog is by her feet and she just acts like she's an invisible dog. She doesn't hate her. She just doesn't see her.
You said you couldn't be away from the inn.
Well, I couldn't at the time, but I worked it out.
For a cat.
It's late. I have a big day tomorrow, Mom.
Oh, what? You're going to a raccoon's wedding?
The way I howled. Lorelai says to Rory that she won't go out with Max Medina if she really doesn't want her to. And Rory's just like, okay, I get it. And then Lorelai's like, but I can go out with him if I want. So why are you asking me then? Foolish. Also saying you're not going to go out of him is a big fat lie. You know you're going to date him. Rory knows you're going to date him. The audience knows you're going to date him. Spare us the nonsense. That's the end of the episode. Emily Gilmore was barely in the episode and she still managed to steal the whole show, in my opinion. Rory gave us nothing, so she goes down. Lorelai was selfish and I'm jealous of her dating Max, so she goes down. Max Medina is inappropriate but hot, so he's somewhere in the middle. Babette has a great voice, so she's up. And Maury, I'm just glad I've remembered the man's name. And Emily is back at the top with her witty retort. Sorry, I don't make the rules, except I do. I hope you join me next week for another recap. I cannot wait until I get the time to be able to do them twice a week so we can get through this and I can do it in 1.5 years instead of 3 years. Pray for me. Okay, bye. If you've got nothing to do, watch my Gilmore Girls review. Subscribe.